You do not need more scales, and I'm going to prove it to you by using the one scale most guitarists know, which is the minor pentatonic scale. And just in case you don't know it, this is the minor pentatonic scale. Now, don't get me wrong, of course, we should all be learning new scales, but what I want to say is that you can do a lot more than you think just using the scales that you already know. So in this video, I'm going to show you a few clever ways of breaking out of the box by using the scale and the shape that you already know. Let's get into it. So let's start by changing how we're playing the pentatonic without changing the note. So there are two main categories for this first idea, and for me that's silhouettes and string skipping. So silhouettes is basically the idea of the direction in which you're playing a scale, and you can even use it to play a sequence of notes in an order and then going to the next note. So starting up with the first direction, you can go up the scale like this. But then you can also incorporate what I call silhouettes, which is basically playing the first note, doing the next few notes, and then going to the next note, doing that same thing. So if we were to go up the scale with the idea of silhouettes, every 3 notes, we would change into the next note, and that would look like this. First, we start with the note A, then C, then D, and then we go to the second note in the scale, which is C. So that's what I mean by every 3 notes, for example. So A, C, D, E, G, A again, and so on and so forth. That would be the idea of silhouettes going up the scale using 3 notes. And here's how that will look like with 4 notes instead of 3. This already sounds way more interesting than just going up the scale. And the same thing applies going down the scale. Or you can incorporate silhouettes to make it a bit more interesting. So 3 notes, for example. Or with 4 notes, it would look like this. So that's a really great way to spice up how you're playing the pentatonic scale. And on top of that, you can mix directions, so you can go up and down. So for example, that will look like this. Talk about a finger twister. That one's always tricky, and I still have to remember how to do it, but it's a really great way to spice up your playing with any scale that you already know. Again, that's going up and down, so 2 notes up and the next 2 notes down. So in second place, using chromaticism and outside playing is another really great way to spice up how you're playing these scales and how you're using them. So for example, you can use what I like to call the half-step trick, which is the idea that you're going in a chord progression, right? Let's say a standard 2-5-1 in the 2 part in the D minor chord, for example. We have a 2-5-1 in C, that's D minor, G7, then C major. Well, in the 2, D minor, you'll be playing the scale, right? In this case, the minor pentatonic scale. Then when we go to the G7, the 5, the dominant chord, since the dominant chord can hold so much tension, you can just raise whatever you're playing, whatever scale you're playing, half a step up. And then when you go to the 1, in this case C major, you can just go back to the original scale that you were playing. So if I were to apply that to that regular 2-5-1 in C major, and I would be using, for example, the A minor pentatonic scale, that will look like this. already that is sounding way spicier, more interesting than just playing the A minor pentatonic on top of all of that. So that's the idea. You're trying to create tension and then resolve it for the one. Now, the really important part here is that you can't just do it and land wherever, right? It's tension and resolution. So you have to try to resolve it to the closest note that's no more than a tone away. So for example, if I'm doing that chromaticism trick, I'm doing this for example, and then going to the outside the B flat minor pentatonic scale. So I'm here at that F, and when I'm going to go to the 1, I have to land on the nearest note of the next scale, which in this case would be this E I have over here. Half a tone away, right? That's the idea. That's how you make that work. At the end of the day, the most important note is not the one that you're hearing at the moment, it's the next note that's going to sound. So that's the really important part about tension and release. You create the tension and then you release it. You resolve it by going to the nearest note possible from the next scale that you're going to do. And expanding upon this idea, you can even take that A minor pentatonic that we're doing for this regular 2-5-1 and just shift it up half a step up in every chord, and you're going to get a really interesting sound. To demonstrate that, let's go back to that track real quick. That would sound like this. I'm going to go A minor pentatonic, then B flat pentatonic, and then B minor pentatonic. It's gonna sound really spicy and interesting and different. Let's try it out. Very spicy indeed. So big idea number 3, we're going to try to use harmony to our advantage, and this is kind of expanding over our last point and how we use the pentatonic to create that tension and release. Well, depending on which pentatonic we're using, which root note pentatonic we're using, we can spice up and change the relationship of the pentatonic scale that we're using to the chord that is sounding at the moment. And this is a really powerful idea in harmony, that there's this chord scale relationship that impacts the sound that you're getting, and you can use that to your advantage without having to learn any scales, just using the scale that you already know, which is really cool. I'm going to give you 2 examples if you're using this idea on a major chord, and 2 examples if you're using it in a minor chord and how it impacts each. So for the first example, we're gonna be in C major, right? Pretty standard, as we all know. Well, you can use the regular A minor pentatonic on top of that, as we know. Pretty standard. But if you go ahead and play that minor pentatonic instead of in A, in B, half a step down from C major, you get this really beautiful colored Lydian sharp 11 kind of sound. And it sounds very, very cool. It sounds like this. And again, the way that you figure that one out is just take a major chord. If it's C, for example, then you're going to play the minor pentatonic scale half a step down from that C. So in this case, that would be B. So B minor pentatonic, right? And the same thing applies for any major chord. So if you're in, let's say, A major, A major 7, right? Then half a step down from A, that would be G sharp. So you can play the G sharp minor pentatonic scale on top of that, and it'll sound really cool. For the second example, we're going to again use the C major chord, but this time we're going to be getting a more major 13th sound is the name of the tension that we're using here, the extensions. And for this one, we're going to be playing the E minor pentatonic scale on top of that C major, and that'll sound like this. A very pretty sounding, very airy kind of sound. It's maybe not as colored as that first example we made, but it still sounds very pretty, very colored, and way more flavor than just a vanilla A minor pentatonic on top of C major. So those are two really cool examples that I implore you to use. For that last example, we're basically doing the minor pentatonic, a major third up from C. So again, same thing. If you're doing, like we said earlier, a major 7th, and you want to have that sound on top of this one, then that would be the C sharp minor pentatonic. Very beautiful sound. I like that one a lot. Sounds really cool too, without being so in your face about it, I guess. It's kind of more subtle, more chill. So moving on from the major examples I had, we have the minor chord examples. So this is just using standard D minor, right? First up, we can get a very cool minor 9th sound if we use the A minor pentatonic on top of D minor. We're using the minor pentatonic scale from the 5th degree of D minor, which is A in this case. So you just count a 5th up or a 4th down, and you have the minor scale that the minor pentatonic scale that you're going to use on top of that minor chord. And that would sound like this. And I love the sound of that one. There's something about it that just sounds very cool, very chill, very nice. Again, that's playing the A minor pentatonic on top of D. So for example, if you want to do that same thing, let's say in G minor, then you would just play the minor pentatonic from the 5th, which in this case is D. So and that's how you get that sound. And moving on from that, we can go even a bit more colored. If we play, for example, on that D minor, we can play the E minor pentatonic scale. And that's basically a 2nd above D minor. And that'll give us a more colored minor 11th kind of sound. It's very cool too, very colored, very nice. That's gonna sound like this. Again, very colored, no right or wrongs here, but they both have a really cool sound that I really enjoy. So I really advise you to try them out sometime because they're really, really cool. So recapping, we basically talked about 3 ways to spice up what you're doing with your scales, the scales that you already know, in this case, the minor pentatonic scale. And that was using silhouettes and string skipping. That was using chromaticism and outside playing to introduce some tension and release. And third, we talked about using harmony and the chord scale relationship to your advantage to express different colors on top of chords, sort of superimposing those colors on top of the chords that we were working on. And in conclusion, these are very musical ideas, but they work so well because we never change the actual pentatonic scale shape that you already know. We just change how we move through it, how we space the notes, and how we relate to the harmony underneath it all. In other words, it's not the scales that you know, it's what you do with those scales that matters. Escaping that pentatonic box is not about adding more notes or scales. It's about harnessing what you already know and using it in different and interesting ways. When you expand your thinking beyond positions and start thinking in terms of intervals and chord scales relationships, you start seeing many more ways of using what you already know, which is a huge advantage for any guitarist. Now, if this approach resonated with you and you want a clearer system for seeing the fretboard as one connected piece. I have a free guide that includes a really cool jazz fusion backing track called 3 Steps to Fretboard Mastery. It's designed to help you see these ideas all across the fretboard in a way that's natural to the instrument so that you can stop thinking and start playing effortlessly. You can grab it in the description down below. And let me know in the comments which one of these ideas did you like the most. Did you like the silhouettes? Did you maybe like the colored sound of the chromaticism? Or did you like the superimposition of different chord relationships? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, keep practicing.